All right, today
Yeah,
we had Mr. Gatson and Mr. Henry on the phone discussing the importance of cash flow when it comes to funding.
and that's the a big thing. I know we always hear people talking about, oh, get your tax ID number, or we hear people talking about, oh, the credit score. Let's talk about the credit score. But there's another component that we have to shed a ton of light on, and that's cash flow.
Right.
Now, Henry, from your side of the table, and we were having this discussion a little while ago. You were talking about buying businesses, and even how you were looking at purchasing a business, it was based on cash flow, right?
Correct. 100% correct. Right.
So you really could care less what the name of the business is, or how long it's been in business, or how they're standing in the community. You are focused on that business cash flow.
Correct. 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 And one of the reasons being is because cash flow is like the heartbeat of the business. If your business is not cash flowing, then the heart of the business is not beating, you know. So from an underwriting standpoint, and for all the audience that will be listening to this, whether today or tomorrow or 100 years from now, if you were an underwriter and you were looking for a healthy business, would cash flow be something that would be one of the vital signs whether that business is surviving and doing well?
The answer is yes. Um, I use a model to explain to people, especially the ones that say, I'm talking about I'm getting a loan with the new tax ID number. I built up the credit of that tax ID number. Well, if a underwriter or a lender, whether it's a traditional lender or a non-traditional lender, whether they're going to go by your tax returns or your bank statements, they want to see enough money running through your company to pay all the company's bills, to show the company has some growth, to pay your salary, and to cover with some cushion whatever payment you're talking about making to them. So before we start marching off into, these companies saying, give us a loan for a car or a truck or furniture or equipment, we have to realize that we have to show that our business can make money. And when we say cash flow, we're not talking about just covering the house. We're talking about covering the house, the business, the employees, and the insurance. And that's going to take us to another topic in the future, Henry. That's knowing how to price your product or service. But for now, we're focusing on and making everybody understand you have to have a method for documenting the cash flow of your business. It can't be, hey, I make $1 million a year. You actually have to be able to document it with something: tax returns, bank statements, showing those bank statements are going to show deposits. You have to be able to document it with something.
Right, right, right. Now let me ask you this, because I'm not gonna say I'm 100% sure in that area. Um, However, I do know from a personal perspective, which I think from a business perspective, I think that it's very similar until you're requesting for a certain amount. But with business credit cards, um, do they ask you to submit any of that documentation? Which I know they're now starting to use a a artificial intelligence type of program, which is called Plaid, PLAID, where you have to log in your bank account, and then the Plaid program, it searches through your bank account, and allows for the program to extract data to see how much you're making. However, for credit cards, it seems that it is a bit of leniency when it comes to getting funded, personal, maybe business. I'm not even 100% sure because I haven't maxed out on a lot of that yet.
Yeah,
What
absolutely is. Yes. Each bank has its own threshold. They come up with something like one bank may say we'll lend up to $30,000 without looking at the person's finances if their credit score is a 740 or above. So each bank has something in place like that. That's true. The problem becomes when the individual does not have the discipline to understand you don't take on debt if you can't make more money with it. You see several of our businesses start and shut down. It's
Right,
because they've not learned this rule. You take on debt to make more money. You don't take
right,
on debt just for the heck of it. So just because they are offering this credit card, if you don't have a project, a development, a system that's going to earn you that plus, or some people say 3 times more, if you take out a loan for 30 grand, you should be showing how you're going to make 90. If you don't have that in place, I would caution anybody on taking out that type of debt unless they're refinancing debt that's that costs them more. If they're reducing the cost of the debt they have. So if they're refinancing some debt and they're getting better terms, improving cash flow, so be it. Otherwise, if you're taking on new debt, make certain it's going to make you some money.
you're right, 100%. And I couldn't have said it better myself. That was well said. So that's definitely one of the nuggets that you all must hear and listen to it very clearly, like Mr. Gaston stated. If you're gonna take on debt, you must be very intentional with that debt. Either you're making money or you're refinancing debt at better rates in better terms than your existing debt or pre-existing debt. So that's definitely a nugget. I'm trying to think what else I had
So
something.
now, Henry, that does take us to the other. I mean, we can't even ignore it. If your business is going to cash flow, that means we're going to line item all the costs we have for our business, what we believe we should earn as the owner of the business, and what I like to call player coach. You can own, and if you're doing the business too, that's many of the cases with many of our subs, our electricians, our plumbers. They not only own the business, but they actually go out and do the work. So they have to have a little line item as ownership, and they have to have a line item as an employee of. We'll teach people that. So the fees that they're charging must be able to cover all of that. And so we have to teach people how to price things out. Now, this is what I caution my businesses on doing. Don't wake up on Sunday and because maybe you fell behind or you didn't work hard the last week, and now your costs are higher because you're trying to make up for something. You can't operate successfully in your industry if the fees you're charging people are based on how you feeling and not on the business. You see, I've seen that many times. Oh, I want to. Oh, you know what? I'm trying to save up money to get a new vehicle. So suddenly your fees go up.
Right.
And well, I'm gonna charge more on this job than that job. No, you want to create a consistent approach. I'm not saying we're McDonald's or Burger King, but I'm saying you do want to make certain that you have a little leeway, but don't make it such a big switch from, oh, I'm charging $5,000 to rewire your house. Next week, the cost is $7,500. No reason why. It's just, I went on vacation, took a cruise, need to catch up. Somebody called me today. I'm gonna charge them $7,500. You have to come up with a consistent method for pricing your product or service and use it. Now, if you want to adjust your pricing every 6 months, every year, or if something major happens in your industry, like in the construction industry, all of a sudden lumber prices went through the roof. That doesn't mean that your labor prices are supposed to go up too. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
You have to position yourself so that you can always pay your bills, but also be competitive. I'm gonna take you back, Henry, and I have to bring this up because I was there. I was a young man, and I witnessed it happening. When Walmart first came out, I worked for a department store. It was called Zayre, Zayre. I was I was in high school. This was before college. We had us a business, a high school business club that I was a member of. So we would work. And I worked at Zayre. And I remember hearing managers talking and laughing about this new company they had heard about called Walmart. Now there was people from Zayre, people from Sears, people from TGNY, people from Woolworth. You can go down the list. All of those so-called department stores that were the staple of our community believed that there was no way anyone could compete with them. And Walmart did. First thing they said was that everything you get from Walmart is cheap, meaning cheap. The stuff you're getting is cheap. Walmart took the word cheap and turned it into a luxury symbol. They took the word cheap and turned it into something good. I remember people would say, man, I mean, they would actually be in Zayre or Kmart or Sears and say, man, I can get this cheaper at Walmart.
Right.
That's exactly what they would say.
That's
I
exactly.
can get this cheaper at Walmart. And they kept saying it. And it kept happening. And Kmart, they would not compete price-wise. And look where we are now, Henry.
Mm. So what would you have suggested to the other companies?
I am
Go ahead.
I'm a full supporter of competition. As a matter of fact, I believe in true capitalism. My problem is that you don't have that here. You don't have that in certain states. In many states, you don't have it, and you don't have it in the majority of the United States. We try to have it, but because of all the other isms, you don't have it. At that point, if I was them or in that position, I would have been competing. I would have been sourcing, paying attention to where they were sourcing their product. I would have let the workforce of America know, look, we have competition. We have to compete. I don't think we should ever run from behind. And that's what we've been doing quite a bit of, even right down to foreign cars. Henry, if you remember when foreign cars first came out, it was a joke to have one. You remember the Datsuns and those foreign. Now foreign cars dominate. It's called competition, and we have to be prepared to compete.
This is a quick question I want to ask you. Do you know? And I don't forgot right now. I can't believe I forgot. Oh my God, I'm mad at myself for forgetting. But do you know one of the best? I mean, do you know some good? How can I say sourcing, logistic wise type of websites?
And when we say sourcing, you mean sourcing products?
Yeah, sourcing products, of course, of course.
Well, what the thing that's been marketed to us is Alibaba. I mean, they have been marketed that if you're gonna try to source something directly, if you're gonna try to do the American gangster thing, that's pretty close to doing it. And even then, you probably need to pay a guide, somebody that's already sourced it, that really knows what's on the other end. Truly, Alibaba is supposed to be that trusted website where you can come to get products from overseas at a competitive price. But what happens when everyone overseas knows that, hey, this is where they're coming from for everything? well, those prices are going to go up too. So
Right.
at some point, it's going to have to be, we are willing to pay our people here to build what we can. I'm not saying we're going to manufacture everything here, because that doesn't make sense for us. It's a global economy now, but we have to find our place in this global economy, and a portion of it must include manufacturing.
Right. You're right. You're right. So you think that uh, the 3D printing technology could potentially bring manufacturing back to the U.S.?
Absolutely, because of its applications. Um, and I don't even call it 3D printing anymore. I call it construction. I mean, oh, we have a 3D printer that can do a house. No, you have a new piece of equipment that can do a concrete house. That's the way I explain to people.
Right.
That's that's an innovative piece of equipment that can draw you a concrete house. You still have to do the build out on the inside. You still have to do the truss system. So I always have those real discussions with people. When we're talking about innovative equipment, which I think is huge, we want to know each component of it. You know, that may open up the opportunity for someone like you and I to come up with a better system for attaching the truss system to a concrete printed house. So there's opportunities there. So absolutely, 3D printers or concrete printed houses, that type of equipment, that is a form of manufacturing for me.
Right. Right. And I agree. Gosh, I was looking. We could definitely keep going on with some subjects, but it's this one before the end of this session here. I would definitely hope that I can find this one logistics site. When I tell you it's free, and it literally tells you where Nike is uh getting their products manufactured at, or at least where the shipment is coming from. It's a open source type of website. We can continue. I'm just letting you know what my mind is at, and I'm
Well,
gonna pull
I
it.
would love to know that.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Oh yeah, you have spent all night on it. And and that's another thing too.
And I'm willing to bet. Yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead. You say you're willing to bet what?
I say I'm willing to bet that when you do find that site or you identify that manufacturing company overseas that does Nike stuff, I'm pretty sure Nike has an agreement with them that says you better not build, make shoes for anyone else.
Well, you know they
I'm pretty
do.
sure that they have those type of contracts in place with them.
You know they do, but you know what
I
I
know
do,
I bought
right?
a pair of what you do.
I I take the website of the factory and I put it on the Google Earth, and I look and see what other manufacturing companies is right around it. Cause they all sleeping in the same area, so they all talking.
That that is the truth. I tell everybody the movie and of course real life, it happened, but the movie American Gangster, where he actually went there to source his product. I know we're talking about illegal stuff, but that's still representative of capitalism.
Right.
Okay, so being able to know or being open to saying I'm going to be more than just a consumer. I'm going to actually learn how to manufacture something or control the entire process from seed to sale.
The whole
I'm
supply
gonna
chain.
control the correct. And
Yeah.
and I don't I know there's nothing wrong with it. I see everything that's right in it. But when you have a culture that's being conditioned to only be consumers, they or we
Mm.
would look at that and say, oh, that's just too much work. And I look at multi-level marketing companies. They'll come in and say, "Oh, you're owning your own business," but actually, I'm not. I'm selling your stuff. I don't own the stuff. I'm not part of the manufacturing process.
Right.
I don't have a stake in it. At any time, you can increase the price. I got to increase. I don't have any say in it.
You know what
So
I
I
call
take
it?
your product and I sell it.
You know what I call it?
What?
I call it being an employee with no benefits.
Correct.
Oh
That's it.
God. Which is even worse. Oh God. God.
Yeah, I do.
Stealing. I'm strolling. I don't want to. Meaning I can't wait to give you this goddamn site here, and I know I'm gonna find it. But
I think I did that with a person a while ago. They came to me saying, "Hey, how come, I'm seeing 1,000 of these?" And it's like, "Hey, I want you to participate. Please just listen to me. It's this juice and blah, blah." I said, "Okay." I said, "I would definitely sign up." He was like, "Really, really?" Well, I said, "No, I'll sign up when you're the person that's manufacturing. So when you can take me to a factory that you own, or even a lease space, and you're sourcing the fruit, and you're creating the juice yourself, and you're bottling it." And I said, I would sign up in that quick. Say, but until you show me that, you keep, like you said, you keep your employee situation to yourself.
hey, I hear you on that. I hear you on that. And I was thinking of something as well as I'm going through here, just to kind of link everything back together. Um, how we initially started out with the funding. And I was just thinking about some underwriting situation that I have seen where to add to that topic, the the underwriters also look for how many deposits that you make consistently a month that's coming into your bank account. Now I'm not going to say with every lender, but some lenders look at that
You can say with
also.
every lender, say it with every lender. Yes, they do.
Okay, but every
You
lender
hit that
then
on
you
the head.
heard.
I'm glad you pulled that back because that's the case. And I say this to all of my self-employed people,
Found it.
from my barbers to my bricklayers, from my consultants to my cosmetologists. Take your cash money and deposit all of it. Do not take it home. Do not say, I'm going to take 50% home and deposit 50%. Deposit all of it. You are self-employed, you're running a business, and you need to respect yourself as such. So that means you need to show all of the money you're making. Yes, we understand, Uncle Sam, we all have to pay a price to live here.
Right.
And you have to pay a price of your full earning potential. Do not short yourself. So that means, Henry, just like you stated, if you're bringing in $150 a day doing hair or laying concrete or whatever your business is, take that full amount. Do not pay your people yet. Go to that ATM and make a deposit of that cash, that amount for the day. And then if your guys are right there and say, look, we got to get paid right, you put that card right back in and you take out how much you need to pay them. Now you have used the technology of today to be your bookkeeper. You've documented how much you earn total for the day and how much you paid out to your workers. Because on this statement is going to show that you made a deposit of $300 and you made a withdrawal of $90, and you can write right down the $90 paid to my workers. You're good. But if you just putting in, you made $300 and you live off that $300 for a couple of days, and then you go put some money in the bank, you're doing yourself a disservice.
You're right. You're right. And I want to add to that because you're definitely right about that. I want to add to it by also saying another how can I say another way of also doing it, which I kind of feel that the banks like a little bit more than the cash deposits, is money order or or deposit it into, have another bank account set up that is the same, maybe even the same bank with the same bank, so the check can clear fast, and maybe deposit into that bank, and then have that bank account to write your the bank that you want to issue your payroll and stuff through with a cashier check. So that way you can always be able, but money order would be the easiest, because when you make the deposit, they can see how that deposit came in. And I have seen where they dictate, I guess, a bit of I don't know if it's professionalism, I don't know if it's just, but a lot of businesses are cash businesses, so that definitely is, except corner stores are cash businesses, car washes are cash businesses. But I really feel that they like to see, and from some personal experiences, I can remember showing money going into my bank account and I'm depositing cash and this and that, and it's great. And they like, hey, buddy, we want to see wire transfers. We want to see checks deposited into that bank account.
Absolutely. You have to see that good activity. And that's the other thing we're talking about when we say cash flow. Not only do they want to see that activity, not only do they want to see enough money coming through there to cover all of your expenses to run your business, it also needs to be enough in there to cover whatever you're talking about getting from them in the form of a loan. And the way that you show that is that the reserves in your account should be growing. You're in business to grow.
Oh, you said a
So
mouthful
if you have a cash flow of $1 million, but you're spending out the entire amount every month, and your average balance is $275, yeah, your business has $1 million cash flow, but they're looking at your expenses are taking it down to 275, and you're asking for a loan with a $1,500 a month payment. They're going to look at it and say it doesn't work. Your cash, your average balance is not in line. Your average balance should be about $3,000, 2,500 should be your average balance if we're trying to approve you for a $1,500 a month payment. So there you have it. Now you know exactly the components. It's not just about, let me get a tax ID, open up some accounts, and then they show that my business has good credit. Now I can go get a loan from anywhere for anything. You can't do it without cash flow, people.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. When they say cash is king, it's definitely no joke. And you know what? Cash might not even be king. It might be the mother. Hey, because it produces everything else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the original.
Hey,
Hey, the mother, the
what?
original.
Yeah. So yeah,
So hey, some of our stuff got that a little backwards. The mother, that's the original, the giver of life.
exactly, exactly, exactly. So yeah, that's definitely. I think that's gonna be great for the audience to hear. And that should also direct a business person or entrepreneur's perspective and focus on growing your cash flow more. The more you grow your cash flow, get as many tax benefits as much as possible as you can,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
also go ahead and pay Uncle Sam and Mama and Auntie Ma'am. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead, go ahead and pay whoever you gotta pay just to play the game.
Yes.
That's all you're doing is play the game. So we're looking at, when you pay your taxes, all you're doing is looking at that as putting that coin in the coin machine so you can continue playing and having your fun and making your tickets, and so you can cash in that big prize at the end. That's all it is.
And we can tell them how to do that real quick too, Henry. It's percentages, and it's also like what you stated. Whatever credit union or bank you choose, you go in and you make those daily deposits of all of your cash. You then take out whatever you needed to take out to pay your folk or to take a little money home. But this is the thing that you must remember. When you go in to talk to your banker, you tell them, you do need them transferring on a regular basis a set amount to another account. And I tell people to set that as 15% of your gross income. So if you deposit $100 for the day, understand $15 goes into that other account. And that other account is for Uncle Sam and Auntie Ma'am. That money is there. And it builds up. So when you do that for the entire year, and it's at the end of the year, you're gonna see that account has plenty of money in it, and you still ran your business because you were thinking about it from the beginning, not at the end. Because when you do it at the end, you have to try to, oh, I'm gonna lowball my income so I don't have to pay taxes, and then you shoot yourself in the foot. Your business doesn't look good.
Right.
So the money is sitting in that account. When you do your taxes, it's gonna show how much you owe, and you write the check out of that account that you've been putting money in for the year. Now that may have $30,000 in it, and you may do your taxes, and like you said, Henry, you took all of your tax write-offs, and you may see that you owe $25,000. Well, you look over there and say, I got 30 in there. You write the check for the 25,000, and in your head, that 5,000 is what we would call your tax return. That's the way you do it as a self-employed person.
And how much reserves would you say that a person should have in their account at all times and allow?
That's dependent upon, that dependent upon your household size and where you are in life. Some people can't have no reserves. We live from check to check. It's just not possible. I'm sorry. Other people, they can have a reserve, and other people say, I'm not going to take my tax return and blow it this year. I'm going to take my tax return of $3,000, put that in an account, and that's going to be the reserves for my whole year, no matter what I earn. So those are the boots on the ground methods for dealing with reserves. Some people don't have them at all. Some people make it a percentage of their income. They build it just like they pay tithes to the church. They set this money aside, no matter what they're earning, they're gonna always put $100 into account and save it. And the other ones say, I'm gonna take a portion or all of my tax returns and use that as a reserve for the year.
You know, with you saying reserves and we're talking about cash flow, you know, just to bring it up, I'm just thinking about it in my mind. And for everyone that is listening to this, I'm going to make a promise so I can remember at the end of this session here, I'm going to announce the name of the website where you can actually go and find out where every supplier basically comes from, or who all is shipping with who, import, export. Okay, so but back to what we were saying. Okay, so just saying reserves and saying cash flow, I can't help but think about in marketing. In marketing, it must be so important when you're marketing your business to create a reoccurring situation with your customer. Or either you're going to be doing a whole lot of marketing out there. Because if cash flow is so important, then who have the cash? It's people. So you either have to obtain people through marketing and then keep a relationship with the people that you obtain through marketing, or either you have to always go out there and you have to get new people to create that cash flow. So think about that. When I see a lot of small businesses, they get customers, they don't take their phone number, they don't take their email address, they don't extract information. While at the same time, we are in the information age. The more information you have, you can analyze where your customers come from, what they like, what they don't like, how, what they willing to pay, what is their income household range. You can collect a lot of things that can create a gravity between you and the customer.
And that's all important. One component you look at, and I use the restaurant as an example. We ask this question in our business classes. Do you want your restaurant to be half full, full, or full with people hanging around the corner? Most of the people in my class check full. That's how they've been conditioned. And I explained to them, you have a right to your opinion. We're in business. I want my restaurant full with people hanging around the corner. The reason being is that I have the Disney, the Epcot, the Busch Gardens. I have the theme park approach. I am going to service, well, let's even talk about Chick-fil-A. I'm going to service the people in the restaurant. So as they walk out the restaurant, they're smiling at and nodding positively to the people coming in the restaurant. They're saying it's worth the wait.
Mm.
So you have that. I see people getting off the roller coaster saying, whoa, that I was getting tired of waiting, but no, I want that experience too. I'm going to wait a little while longer. How long is the ride? 90 minutes. But every time they get off, they're excited, they're happy. So every time someone uses your business or your service, that is the time to snatch them, to grab them, to say, go tell somebody else, go say, woo, this looks great, celebrate it. You grab them there, you create that process, and just like you said, Henry, now you're building up that pipeline of people so that they can give you the cash flow you need.
Mm. Right on that. Well, Ed, we definitely we hit some valid points today. I think any of the audience that is listening to this, they hopefully they appreciate it. I appreciate it. I want to give out. I want to kind of wrap it up because I know I gotta get out of here real quick. I want to give out the name of the website where you can look at. It'll give you a start to find suppliers, whoever you are out there. It's called Import Yeti. Import Yeti. Import is spelled IMPORT. Yeti is spelled YETI. I'm going to say it again for most of you who don't understand my half country accent. Okay, I is for igloo, M is for March, P is for Peter, O is for Oscar, R is for Robert, T is for Tom, Y is for yellow, E is for Eric, T is for Terry, I is for India. Import Yeti. So importyeti.com, or either you can Google Import Yeti, but it'll definitely pull up and that'll give you a start to look at some things. So Ed, you want
Well,
to
you
end it?
know, I'm gonna do some research on it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I'm gonna definitely take that and do some research on importyeti.com. I'll get that rocking and rolling. Other than that, this has been some good information. As always, we'll keep dropping these genuine nuggets for each other and others, Henry. And from that standpoint, our goal is to make certain that we get out as much good information as we can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But thank you, Mr. Ed. And I'm very appreciative that you spent time talking to me and talking to the world so they can get a better understanding from Mr. Ed Gatson, a banker himself, you know. So if I even though I can't hear y'all clapping right now, you should be clapping right now because you have no idea of the information that you have obtained. And maybe a year or 2 years from now, after going through this information, you in digesting this information, you say, hey, hey, Mr. Ed Gatson gave some powerful information to me, and you sent over a gift or something.
Mr. Henry, you're gonna handle all of that because I can tell you, I know that you've touched and vetted everything, and I appreciate you for it. You stand in the cut for us old men and make certain we stay connected. We appreciate you.
Hey, I thank you. I thank you on that. All right, now, so let me go to this yoga class.
Hey, you and that's, you see the difference. You going to yoga, and I'm gonna go ahead and have a quick meeting with a Long Island.
hey, we gotta meet up on that one day. You know, we really do.
Okay.
All right, now. All right.
All
Talk to
right.
you
Take care.
later. All right.